Welcome everybody to Extreme Power No Handling, and today we're dealing with the 1969 Nissan Fairlady Z 432. Now I've chosen this purely because the brand new Nissan Z car is being added to the game next week, so yeah, figured we'd celebrate its inclusion in the game by trying out some of its older generations on a couple of other videos. So yeah, now this has not very much in the way of weight at £2,392, but yeah, it has 1,270 horsepower. So yeah, from a 3.4 litre inline 6 turbocharged engine. So very light rear wheel drive classic car with 1,110 extra horsepower than it had originally. So yeah, this wasn't a bad handling car to start with. It's actually a fairly good one. It's easily one of my favourite sports cars from the 60s, but yeah, it's clearly dealing with a hell of a lot more power than it ever had to start with, so therefore it's probably going to be a bit slidey, to be honest. So yeah, let's see what it can do. So yeah, it's also got 901 pounds-feet of torque, which is also a lot more torque than it had originally. And yeah, from a much larger engine. It's got 1400 extra cc's and obviously a turbocharger locked on top of that. So yeah, as you'd expect, far quicker in a straight line than it ever was originally, but yeah, that's not really going to matter. It's going to be about how much of the power it can use and whether or not it's going to be able to stay in a straight line when you want to use it as well. So yeah, and obviously the rain is not going to help this car, being rear wheel drive, weighing very little. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't an awful handling car to start with, so hopefully some of that will be able to deal with this huge increase in power and torque. But yeah, I'm not going to be expecting miracles with this vehicle, because as much as I like it, there's no doubt that this is a big ask out of this car to deal with these weather conditions and that much power on top of that. So yeah. But it should hopefully at least beat the Toyota FJ240 from the previous episode. There's a bit of a rivalry between two Japanese companies. As you can see, once it does get in a straight line, it is pretty sharpish, despite not having any all-wheel drive or anything like that. And hell, even the FJ40 had even more power than this, so yeah, if this is quicker, that'll be a sign that the handling on this is what's benefiting this more than the power. Yeah, it definitely does struggle in terms of getting off the line, as it's only able to do 0 to 60 in 7.169 seconds already. And yeah, 0 to 100 in 13.797 seconds, and it runs a top speed of 176, which again isn't as quick as the FJ40 in acceleration or top speed. But that car was heavier, and even stock had way worse handling than this, so yeah, let's see what it can do. So yeah, our first lap was 1 minute 28.789, which is about 6 seconds off the FJ40, so let's see if we can improve upon that on this lap and its next and final lap. So yeah, really looking forward to the new Z car. I think it looks great. It's usually better looking than the previous two Z vehicles, the 370 and the 350. Certainly the best looking Z car since the 90s at least, so yeah, really looking forward to it in terms of the way it looks. And it's even got a fair bit of power as well. It's got 400 horsepower, which is hardly a bad amount of horsepower. It's certainly more snow than anything that the likes of Toyota have come up with, or Subaru have come up with in the last few years with their sporty vehicles. So yeah, they're definitely showing Toyota and Subaru how to do it. Be very careful with the throttle on this. So yeah, that's an improvement there at 1 minute 26.970 seconds. Really careful with the throttle when coming out of the corners, because it will snap oversteer. Whoa dear. Oh dear. Just like hit the wall there. One advantage the FJ40 had is Once it could get in a straight line, you could instantly pretty much floor it, because the all-wheel drive would help sort out the power. Whereas this only has those rear wheels to deal with, and yeah, the tyres aren't the thickest, and the suspension isn't the best, especially for this amount of power. It is asking a lot out of this car to deal with all of that power coming out of any corner, really. Once it starts getting through those gears, it's pretty decent. We've given it an additional gear, as it was only a 4-speed originally, so we gave it a 5-speed, just so it had extra gears to play with getting around this circuit. So it makes the 4th gear a little bit easy to access. So there we go, an improvement on the final lap, but not an improvement enough to beat the FJ40, despite this car weighing less and technically have better handling, as we've managed a time of 1 minute 24.551. So yeah, just about 1.5 seconds slower than the FJ40 there, which is a little bit of a surprise. But I guess with the weather conditions and the huge level of power and the fact it's only rear wheel drive while weighing very little was yeah, making it a bit of a handful to drive. But it's definitely a more fun car to drive than the FJ40, and yeah, a damn sight more sophisticated to drive as well, as yeah, that car was just sliding everywhere through the corners, whereas with this Z car there was some sliding, but you could also be a bit more precise with it, and it was a damn sight more agile as well to drive. So yeah, not a better car than the FJ40 in terms of the time, but a better car overall. So yeah, but that time is far from the worst that we've had on this series. It's quicker than the Hummer H1 Alpha, the BMW Isetta, slower than the Hennessy Velociraptor 6x6 though, and yeah, it is also quicker than the likes of... it's quicker than the Reliant Supervan 3, also quicker than the Ford Super Deluxe station wagon, but it's slower than the GMC Jimmy and the DeLorean, as well as the no, actually it's quicker than the Ford Super Duty F450 by about 0.4 of a second, as well as the Wuling Sunshine and the Oldsmobile Tornado. So yeah, far from the worst, but definitely a bit of a handful at times, and certainly one you've got to get used to in terms of the way it handles that power and the way it handles itself. So yeah, but nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.